Okay, Brew, who needs a statement win more Sunday night?
Well, let me say this first. I like what Ronnie Stanley is saying. And at first I thought, do I want them to put a lot of emphasis on this Bills game, right? Because you don't want to, if you lose, then are you messed up for at least a few weeks? But I look, we know what the Ravens' problem is, right? Can they play their best game in the playoffs? All right. I think having some big regular season games where it's kind of like a playoff atmosphere, the Bills, the Chiefs, last year was the Steelers. I think that's probably good for them to be in that atmosphere. Because think about a few years ago. They didn't have a ton of games like that. They were a good team. They were, one of the top teams, but it wasn't.
When they were the 1 seed? You're talking about when they hosted the AFC
I'm talking about like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They didn't have a lot of those games. Now they got some big marquee games, and they've had a few the last few years. I just think that can be good for them when Lamar's admitted, I might get a little tight. So I think that's good. As far as this game, I'm going to say I think both of them, it's a huge game. I'm going to say the Bills, though, because it's in Buffalo. Huh. And last year, the Ravens throttled the Bills in the regular season. I mean, whipped them by 25 points, all right? Yeah. And then in the playoffs, they didn't deliver. So I just feel like Buffalo's at home. If you're Buffalo, look, I don't think either team's going to be wrecked by the loss. But if Buffalo loses, theoretically, you could say, well, last year we beat them in the playoffs here in Buffalo. This year we're supposed to be better, but we lost to them. So I think the Bills need it a little more.
So I think it's your Ravens, and you're right on this standpoint. Like, the loser of the game, barring catastrophic injury, we're still going to come in here the next day and say that they can be in the Super Bowl and their season isn't over. It's a great opener for a ton of reasons. But the Ravens, they need to develop the mindset for whatever you put in this, and it's unquantifiable, that they can win these types of games consistently. They need to build that resume because when they play the Bills and the Chiefs, they play them close.
But remember, last year they demolished them in the regular season.
The one time in the regular season. But since 2019, what you're talking about, 5 years, this era, they are 3-7 against the Bills and the Chiefs, playing close games, and Lamar has not been great. And that key there, obviously they can't answer that in week 1, 0-3 in the playoffs. But against everybody else, the Ravens are everything that you say they are. They crush everybody. And Lamar is great, and the games are blowouts, and they look like the best team in the world. And so, do the Bills need it because they've never been the 1 seed? And they would like home field advantage? Sure, it's a big game for both teams, but the Bills know they can beat the Ravens. The Bills know they can beat the Chiefs. I think the Ravens still need to build up and get callous to, we can win these big games against these teams.
Yeah, I think it's the Ravens, but it's for a slightly different reason, because I think you guys are both overlooking to a degree how the Ravens started last year. It's not just 0-2, it's who they were 0-2 against. I said all last offseason, I thought the NFL did the Ravens a little dirty. Having them open with the team that they suffered their heartbreaking playoff defeat to. And then they did to them again. Last year, they opened with Kansas City. They lost a classic at the end when they had a chance to, tie or take the lead. And that actually beat them the next week, too, when they lost to a woebegone Raiders team, at least in my opinion. I think that there was no other reason for the Ravens. In that moment, we didn't know it, but you looked at who they were the rest of the year. Them losing to the Raiders was, I think.
They were in a real must-win week 3. It was in Dallas, I think?
Dallas, and they beat Dallas by 3, and then they whooped Baltimore. Or I'm sorry, they whooped Buffalo in week 4, and they were back on track. So this, I don't think you can start 2 years ago, you lose to the Chiefs week 1, you lose to them in week 1. Last year, you lose to Buffalo. Week 1, you lose to them. I just think it sets the table so poorly. I also think all of these rankings say Baltimore's at the very least the most talented team in the AFC, and they're the only team I consistently see. If Philly's not number 1 in league-wide power rankings, it's Baltimore. You know what I mean? Everybody is, praise at the altar at the very least that Lamar in the regular season might be the best quarterback in the league. If he's not, he's certainly neck and neck with Josh and with Mahomes being somewhere. But some people have him ahead of Mahomes. this is a game that I don't think if Buffalo loses, their confidence is shaken at all. And if Baltimore loses, to Danny's point, it does feel like, all right, we are always put in this class with Buffalo and Kansas City, but when we play them, we're not.
See, I looked at it when last year they started 0-2 and obviously lost the first game to Kansas City. You make a good point about that Raiders loss probably was due to the week before. But I looked at it like they lost to the Chiefs, they're 0-2, and then they were rolling. I get it, they lost in the playoffs, but you know what I mean? Like, they rolled after that, and they didn't really think about the loss to the Chiefs.
How do we give the ball to Derrick Henry more?
It's a good idea.
But I also think that of these three teams, I think home field for Baltimore should mean the most. And I think
they had it 2 years ago.
I know they had it and they lost, but it also, when we watch those highlights of their game, the reason they didn't have home field against Buffalo was because they lost to the Raiders last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could pick any game they lost.
Yeah, but for Buffalo, you can say it's the one thing they haven't had. They've got the MVP. They've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season. They've never had the AFC playoffs go through.
No,
Buffalo.
but they did have. But twice they've lost at home. They lost at home in round 2 to Cincinnati. And they lost at home in round 2 to Kansas City.
Sandwich watch in Buffalo.
Oh.
Would it be sandwich?
You're with
Isn't
me.
it like some
Buffalo wings?
Buffalo wings.
A buffalo sandwich, though.
I'm not sure
Buffalo
which type of
chicken
sandwich.
Buffalo chicken sandwich. Good.
That's
You
what
think
I want.
Baltimore beats them?
Oh, well, Buffalo's certainly on. I think here's the question before we move on that I thought would be interesting. If I'm Lamar, this team can't beat us. We can beat us. I threw the ball away.
He should feel that way about every team. With all due respect to the Chiefs, he should feel that way about everybody.
They didn't beat us. We beat us.
agree.
If we play our game, they play their game, we win. They're on sandwich watch.
Yeah.
Coming up next,
good.
Matthew Stafford. Everybody's All-American. His back is.
Oh, that's one of Bruce's
Thank
lines.
you,
I
Bob.
forgot.
His back is back and looking good, in a good way. Ready to go against the Texans.
He just got done working out.
Locked in.
Yeah, he was probably working out.
Yeah.
All right, so Nick, do you have full confidence, 100% confidence in your guy Matthew Stafford and the Rams?
Well, so in
Mostly
week
Stafford.
1, absolutely. In the playoffs, absolutely. I don't know what timeline you're talking about here. It's just this is a little ambiguous question.
Yes.
But if we're talking about right
Yeah,
now,
for the season.
absolutely. I'm not worried at all about Matt Stafford. I think his back hurt. I also think that part of getting him to come back and agree to the new contract was, you're not going to have to do much in August, buddy. You'll be fine. You're 37 years old. Here is what I will say, Brew, and I'm curious where the table lands on this. If I am, as far as confidence in quarterbacks, power ranking who I would want to start a playoff game for my team, my number 1 draft pick is Patrick. My number 2 draft pick is Josh. My number 3 draft pick is that guy. He is my number 3 pick of all the quarterbacks available to me. That if he can
Burrow's
be
pretty
my.
good.
Yeah,
Burrow's pretty good.
Burrow's pretty good. Stafford's
Yeah, I'm
playoff
taking
numbers
Burrow.
are better than Burrow's, and Stafford has never had the game that Burrow had most recently in the playoffs with multiple second-half interceptions, a conference championship game, a 70 passer rating. That game kind of gets lost to the shuffle the last time we saw Burrow in the playoffs. Burrow would be 4th, though, for me, and then we get to Baker has sneaky great playoff numbers, but I don't want to get there. So, yeah, I mean, if the question is full confidence that he's going to be fully healthy in Week 14, no, probably not. But full confidence in Stafford, yeah.
But that's
absolutely.
a problem.
It's not ideal. 37-year-old quarterback's not ideal. But
Thank you. Like, we're talking, the playoffs are months away.
And week
They're
1.
not getting there.
Let's talk about week 1.
So Matthew Stafford, no, I do not have full confidence in him. I think the back, because here's the thing, you got your theory about the back. I haven't heard it anywhere else or seen it, but you got your theory. If that is the case, that's not good. It's better that his back really isn't hurt. But it's like, I'm not all in. The only way you can get me back is let me not be in training camp. So that's not good. And like I said, Danny, he's 22-18 his last 3 years as a starter. His numbers aren't eye-popping his last 3 years as a starter. He has been good in these playoff games. But we're giving this guy so much credit because he was close to the defending Super Bowl champions last year in the playoffs because he was close. You mentioned another playoff game earlier that he was close to. Like
two teams have won the Super Bowl since he did. It's not like he's never It's not like we're ages. The Chiefs and the Eagles are the only teams who have hoisted a trophy more recently than Matt Stafford.
Yeah, but it was 2021
was
that
3 Super Bowls ago, 2 teams.
Yeah, and he hasn't played. He hasn't played that well since then. He's had great games here and there, particularly in the postseason, but his numbers have not been great. And I think a lot of it's because he's banged up, and I think he's still banged up.
Well, so that's the part of it. He's 37 years old with a bad back, and if you're saying his back is totally fine.
I'm not saying he's totally fine. I think he was. I think the how bad it was in training camp was overstated. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then let's just talk about week 1, because Matt Stafford, a 37-year-old with bad mobility and a bad back, is not a great thing. And when he was under pressure last year, it was weird because he has McVay, who's a top 5 coach, and Puka Nacua was hurt, but he was there for the majority of the season.
Oh God, we put EPA in the show now.
This is for Brew.
Excellent, Danny.
Yeah, it's for you,
outstanding.
Brew.
What does that mean?
40.
What does minus
top
40
graphic.
mean? Bro, what does it mean?
It means I should play at Augusta, is what it is. And here's the thing. He was bad under pressure. And he's going up against a Texans team that is the best edge rush duo in the NFL in Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. I hope he plays 17 games because watching a Sean McVay offense with Matt Stafford and now Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua should be very exciting.
It will be.
But I have no faith that he is going to make it through 17 games when Coleman Shelton is his center, and he was a backup on a Bears offensive line last year that allowed 68 sacks for Caleb Williams.
But I guess
there are serious offensive line questions for an immobile quarterback with a bad back facing the best pass rush in week 1.
Aside from Patrick and Josh, who are the quarterbacks that we are fully, and I guess Baker, fully confident are playing 17? Because Brock Purdy missed time last year. Joe Burrow missed time the year before. Lamar. Hold on. I guess that's my point.
But
Stafford,
are you trying to say he's no more of an injury risk than a Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson?
What I'm saying is we talk about him like he's a straw man, and he doesn't miss time. Since he's been in the Rams, he's missed time once. Like he gets hurt and plays through it. Like he's not.
He's unbelievable tough.
He's not missing a bunch of games.
But don't you think
play?
Don't you think it's affected?
But I don't think so. This is why I asked what question we're asking. Week 1, I think he's fine. If we're talking about week 1, I have full confidence. If we're talking about at the end of the season, no matter the shape he's in, I have confidence.
I don't have full confidence because Sean McVay was like, yeah, he was supposed to go, but then he's
Right.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Well, it's still something.
Okay.
That came out of only one coach's mouth. If Sean McDermott was saying that, I'd be like, whoa.
No, but
every other coach would be like, what's going on? They got this weird thing there. He's getting treatment in?
No, again, I'm not acting like it is ideal. What I'm saying is Stafford has been, whether it's the elbow or the back, he has been banged up for the last few years and consistently plays. Like it's not, he doesn't miss a bunch of time.
But not to his typical level. The playoffs, he's been good.
Right, if you believe, you don't think they're going to be in the playoffs, which is a totally legitimate opinion. But if you believe, like I believe, they're going to be in the playoffs, he has gotten to the playoffs. Last year, at the end of the year, he looked like a shell of himself, right? You know what I mean? His numbers, they weren't scoring points. And then immediately he started playing really well, which is what gives me confidence. It's not like he was lucky and fully healthy last year at the end of the year. He wasn't, and he still activated a playoff gear.
Okay. Bad debut for the GOAT in college football. 511 NFL games. Bill Belichick never gave up 48 points. He has now. 48-14. Okay, here are the numbers last night, Danny. Look at total yards. 552 for TCU, 222 for University of North Carolina. The biggest difference in a Week 1 Power 4 matchup since 2019. Are you confident UNC can bounce back?
No, to put it mildly. I mean, that was a tough watch last night. And I'll say this. In terms of our interest in this story, I think last night was the peak of Bill Belichick in North Carolina. I think it's all downhill. We only care about celebrity college coaches, faces of the program, if you're good. We didn't care about Jim Harbaugh at Michigan when he was winning 8 games. We didn't care about Jim Boeheim at Syracuse when he was going to the NIT. Like, they are a 14-point favorite against Charlotte next week, and Charlotte just got crushed by Appalachian State. if he beats Charlotte, and which we all, I would imagine, would expect him to do.
Charlotte.
It's not an A-block story.
No. But if he loses to Charlotte.
Exactly.
That's
but if he loses to Charlotte, it's an A-block story. So now the floodgates are open on what's going on with Bill Belichick. This is weird. And I'll tell you this. Michael Jordan isn't leaving the Grove to go watch him play Charlotte. Like last night, it was Monday Night Football. Lawrence Taylor's there. Julius Peppers there. Mia Hamm. Michael Jordan. That was an event. It was interesting. I'm there for kickoff of a game with the 8th-ranked team in the ACC. They have one game against a ranked team, right? It's Clemson.
Yeah. They actually have an easy schedule, but now that we've seen how they looked, it's not that easy. But it's not marquee matchups.
So why are we going to care the rest of the way about this if they're just awful? If it's a 5-win Tar Heel team and he's giving us no answers and no interest,
they have to be either abysmal or like if they're just decent. Yeah, you're right. But absolutely right.
To add just quickly before you go, Brew, to add to that Week 1 win against TCU for Deion in Colorado bought them 2 months of coverage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because TCU, right? But that year they weren't that good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Colorado State game.
Right. Oh. But it was TCU was better than at least ranked higher than this year's team. They were coming up. No, they were. Oh, yes. Colorado started well.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that was Week 1. TCU coming off the national championship. Colorado won, and it gave them a long runway in the relevance. And Deion kept rolling out the stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was
an interesting cult of personality figure that would say great. Bill Belichick's not going to say anything.
And also,
interesting.
you could also, even when Colorado wasn't winning, Travis and Shador were interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
The offense was still high flying. I don't know. It's getting late early in North Carolina.
Exactly.
Late early.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.